Let's go to Mike Neville now. He's a former Metropolitan Police Detective Chief Inspector. Good morning to you, Mike.
Good morning.
Thank you very much.
Well,
yeah, I mean, absolutely awful. I mean, again, I think when we all saw pictures of these two young people, young friends, absolutely horrified to see. I mean, just wonderful, beautiful, smiling faces, prime of their lives. I mean, look, you know, you're a parent, this is our worst nightmare, isn't it? Your kids go off and they never come home. And I think that's what everyone is feeling, and every single front page has their faces on. We know that the police ongoing inquiries, they've said that, only one suspect is in custody. They don't expect to find any more. Not looking for any more. We understand, counter-terrorism police involved very early on, and then a number of those senior figures pulled out, but counter-terrorism police still involved. Has terrorism been completely ruled out?
I'm not sure. They won't rule anything out at the moment while they're searching for motives, but if the man is mentally ill, it's going to be very difficult to question him. Of course, one key to all this will be the computers he has, the phones he has, so they can be searched and see what he's been looking for. What is his motive? There may be, the sad thing about this, the whole affair, there may be no motive at all. Something awful has triggered this reaction, and now we see these two young people, as you say, in the prime of their lives, dead. And it would seem somebody, a 50-year-old guy who's got up early to go to work, is dead as well. And it's just an awful tragedy. And I fear for everybody that there is no reason for it, and that's possibly even worse.
I know, that's what I was thinking, isn't it? There is an argument, isn't there, where everyone goes, oh, it looks like, that feeling, especially of a knife rampage, different places, and then a van being rammed into people, and we know 3 were injured, 1 still critically injured in hospital as a result of that. Those people have not been named by the police or indeed other local sources. That it had all the trappings of what I think many of us thought at the time was a possible Islamist terror attack. That, as I said, that doesn't appear at the current time to be the case. But let's have a little listen to what Chief Constable of Nottinghamshire Police, Kate Maynell, has said yesterday regarding the suspect.
I can tell you that a 31-year-old man has been arrested on suspicion of murder and remains in police custody. We are not looking for anyone else in connection with the attacks, and I can reassure the public that it is safe to visit the city centre. There may be some road restrictions in place as we continue to establish exactly what has happened.
She later said, Mike, that they're not ruling anything out, and that would be the norm at this time. When we are dealing with somebody, when there's a difficulty of finding a motive, someone hasn't, say, for instance, not a member of Islamic State, they haven't written their manifesto and published it online, and we've seen that in some horrific terror attacks. How do police go about establishing a motive, and how important is that?
Well, as I've said, there's all sorts of electronic devices. But of course, if this man, we're told he's got a history of mental health issues. And so there'll also be a long medical record with doctors, nurses and health workers who may be able to shed light on what triggers this guy. There'll be local neighbours who'll know that there's some petty thing. I mean, we saw in the case in Holland where a man shot and killed a father and a little girl on the swings. And that seems to have been triggered by too much noise from the garden. It's just quite incredible, isn't it, how the smallest thing can result in murder and mayhem. It's just absolutely dreadful. But as I say, the health workers and the computer searches possibly the best way to establish some form of motive, if there ever was one in the first place.
Indeed, yeah. Obviously, that's only something that's been in recent, decades that's been available to the police. And in terms of other inquiries, we know that there was, we saw police, extraordinary footage of police, made an armed raid on a property. We understand, 2 women were taken into custody at some point. We haven't heard anything more about that. We know they said no other suspects involved, but police presumably will be, widening their inquiry. Anybody who knows this man to just see if there is any other link to any other cause.
Well, we don't know if those 2 women were arrested. It may simply be that they went to the premises, they were going to shut it down because they had to do an extensive search, and they may have had to take them somewhere. It may be that they're considered as sort of key witnesses, that they have important information about this man. but it doesn't seem they've been arrested.
No.
So it would seem that they are being treated as sort of valuable witnesses in this case, or, as I say, just to get them into a place of safety.
And indeed, well, we know obviously lots of roads are still closed in Nottingham. This is still affecting very much the people of Nottingham, and particularly obviously the student community there. Thank you very much indeed for joining us, Mike Neville there, former Detective Chief Inspector.